Hello, my network. This is Beverly again, CEO of Hulaine Strategic Services, a sales training and sales effectiveness company. In the region, we've been operating for 4.5 years, and we serve clients, large clients, medium-sized clients, and small clients as well. Now, in this series of interviews I'm doing, we are in unprecedented times, as you know, and I just reached out to my network to be able to help my community answer some of the questions that are presented to us, because what's happening is that we've all rushed into, situations that we are not very familiar with yet, and we're trying to get accustomed to working remotely. Today, I have with me Kevin Gordon. Now, Kevin is the CEO of Simply Secure Group. They offer services right throughout the US, Europe, and the Caribbean. And the Simply Secure Group's mission is to deliver world-class cybersecurity consulting services to safeguard the IT infrastructure of businesses. So welcome, Kevin. Thank you for
Thank you
joining
very
us
much for
today.
having me.
And we are going to be talking about some tips to help us keep our company's information and data safe while we work from home or otherwise work remotely, because that is a topical situation right now, and we would just like to help people to understand what's involved so that we can all be much safer. Kevin, thank you for joining us, and we're going to rely on your expertise here, sir, just to share with us what are some of those tips that you have for us.
Well, it's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me on your program, Beverly. And you are right, we are in unprecedented times. We've always spoken about work from home as a vision of the future. Well, the future is here. And may I add that I do not believe we are going to go back to where we were before.
I'm sure.
So it's important for us to understand what are the things we need to be doing as employees, as consumers of this new environment, to ensure that we keep the data for businesses secure. And there are a couple of things that we need to understand. One, you're moving from a secured network to what may be relatively secure, but not as secured as your corporate network. That is number one. For you to be moving your laptop with the company's data, sensitive data, on that machine, the first thing I would ask is that you go home and change all the passwords to your routers, your switches, and all your home devices, home network immediately. And there should be a minimum of 16 characters with numbers, letters, you name it, throw in a couple signs, and ensure that you keep those passwords in a password secured file. We're not talking about a file on your laptop. There are applications and tools for you to keep those passwords. And that's another discussion we can have at another time, when we can make a couple of recommendations. That is critical.
Yes.
Why am I saying this? A lot of persons do not understand that it is very easy to bypass the security systems on your computer if we have access to your network. Now, if your computer is already vulnerable and I have access to your router, I could then get access quickly to your computer, and then we can start loading malware and other things that would then copy and image everything you're doing on your computer. I could see what you're typing. I could turn on your camera. I could turn on your microphone. But we could do far more than that. So it's important that you protect that. Do not take that for granted.
So the first thing that we are to do is change all our passwords.
All your passwords.
Good.
16 characters
16
minimum.
characters. Okay.
Uppercase, lowercase, and sign symbols.
Okay.
Within. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, when you are home, be aware, and especially now, there's a lot of what we call phishing emails that are being sent. Those are emails that are coming in for persons, users to click to get updates on COVID-19 across the world. I would say 80 to 90% of those files, those links, are malicious in intent.
Yes.
Do not click on them.
Okay.
A lot of those sites are purchased with the sole intent of downloading malicious malwares on your computer that will then execute codes and execute commands to exfiltrate data from your computer. And in the worst case, will then start moving across your network to go onto your company's infrastructure to open files and exfiltrate data there. It can get worse as well. Yes, go ahead.
So let me ask a question. So you are saying that if I could get an email, I click on it as a link to get update on something that is relevant to me. The malware gets installed on my machine.
It gets executed on your machine, installing your machine.
And then I could be impacting my company's infrastructure and information, even though I'm working from home.
Yes, and you're not aware.
Yes, okay.
So a lot of the malwares, they are executed in the back end, and they are opening kernels, they are doing things on your laptop that should not be done. And I'll give you an example. You may see a Adobe file, and it looks relatively clean. Your antivirus is looking for what we call signature. If it's an exe file, I'll kill it. If it comes with a particular signature that is known, I will kill it. But a lot of the codes, a lot of the files are coming with codes embedded in the file that your antivirus would not normally see. And once you click on those files, thinking they are clean, and legitimate, they start executing on your laptop, opening files, getting hashes, which are your passwords, to your files and to your machine. Then, as long as it sees a connection to a larger domain through your VPN, it will move across your VPN to the company's devices and company's machine and try and access the database and servers there. And that's where you'll have major problems.
All right. Okay. So we have to take responsibility.
For you to view and update on what's happening with COVID across the world.
Right.
Now remember, a lot of the websites that are being purchased and what we call domains that are being purchased by hackers just for that. So you will go to a website thinking you're getting updates on COVID-19, but what you're really getting is infected.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Two very good points, Kevin. And again, we're speaking about just how to keep our company's data, information, and protect ourselves while we work remotely from home. Okay, Kevin.
Exactly. Now, the other thing we see, because users are relatively comfortable in their home environment, you tend to sometimes use your company's laptop to do personal things.
Yes.
We will strongly suggest that you remove every personal application and portal from your company's laptop to a personal laptop. Yes. And if possible, if you have the technical capabilities, try and separate your personal laptop connectivity from the company's connectivity. That can be done. In a number of instances, some users have completely separate network for their IoT devices, just in case there is an infection.
IoT, okay.
The Internet of Things. So that's, those are your Internet of Things. So those are the fridges that connect to your internet, your washing machine that connects to the internet, your stove that connects to your internet, the Alexa that connects your, and it goes on and on and on. And those, your cameras, your Ring doorbell, these are part of the IoT network. Those are, we recommend in a number of instances that you connect those to a separate network because security in a lot of those instances are not as high as it should be. But that's not a topic for discussion today.
For another conversation.
For another conversation.
Right.
And so what we're asking, if you have a personal laptop, take all your applications off your company's laptop, move it to your personal laptop. We have seen a number of instances where users, they're unaware. I'm opening, I really want this Adobe file. I really want this PowerPoint file. I really want this operating system. So I'm going to go to a site, a torrent site. I'm going to download something that I believe I should not be paying for because all software should be free.
Right.
And so I'm downloading a free software and I'm enjoying the software, not realizing that the person who gave you that software has already embedded a malware at the back end of that software that is now doing damage to your computer and to your company's files without your knowledge. Move
Okay.
that away.
Right. Okay. I have one question for you. A few things have happened to me already. I get
Mhm.
an email that looks very legitimate with Kevin Gordon,
Yes,
and what I've been taught is look for the end section to see if it's
that's
coming
correct. So
from.
that's called BM, that's business email compromise. Yes.
Right. And I've seen your name looks very legitimate
Very
with your
legitimate, yes.
logo. But when I
Yes.
check there, I am not seeing your
Always.
legitimate company. So I don't click on
That's
it. That's
correct.
something I've learned.
That's very good. That's another point to note.
Yes.
Always check your emails. Do not, in this day and age, we have to be as skeptical as we possibly can.
Yes.
Do not believe. I would say to you, stay on the side of caution. Be very cautious of every email that comes in. It is
Yes.
better for you to click on the header to
Yes.
check the link, not the link, but check the header files. So
Yes.
if you are certain this is Kevin Gordon, you should already know what my email address is.
Yes.
Open that drop down for Kevin Gordon and see if you see the legitimate email
Yes.
for Kevin
If it
Gordon.
says
If it says
simplysecure.com,
simplyserogroup.com, then
right?
you can say it's safe to say it is me. If
Right,
it
right,
says
right.
simply secure GROP
Yes.
.net or
Yes.
simply securegp.net, then you
Yes.
know that it's not from me.
Oh, yes.
Anyone can create an email that says Kevin Gordon, Beverly Thompson, or anyone else
Yes.
as a part of our pen testing process. When we are doing social engineering as a part of our pen testing, we would create legitimate emails for our clients, and we will
Right.
send that out to their staff members with the intent for them to click on that link that gets back to our server, and
Right.
that gives us a count of how many users are not looking at the details. So
Oh,
be skeptical, get into the
and that is like
details.
I can audit process that.
Yes, that's correct. So we do an
Right.
audit of your infrastructure, and we
Okay.
also do a part of that is social engineering.
All
So be
right. Excellent.
skeptical of everything that you see.
Okay.
Don't
So be
click on the
skeptical.
file.
Okay.
Be skeptical. You are
Yes.
now at home. You're not under the protection of your corporate environment. So
Yes.
that's number 3.
3. Right.
Yes. The other thing, number 4, a lot of companies are now employing VPNs to connect back. That's private. That's a private network. It's a
Yeah.
virtual network
Mm-hmm.
that connects back to the company's network.
Yes.
Now, guys, that for me is the holy grail for any hacker. If
Mm-hmm.
we have access or a hacker's access to your company's network,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much that can be done. So you have to protect your computer and that VPN connection.
Oh.
If you are not doing legitimate work, do not leave that VPN connection open.
Ah.
Disconnect from your company's network.
Okay.
Just remember
Mm-hmm.
that VPN connection provides it's not physical, but in this sense, it's a connection to everything that the company has. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have what we call administrator privilege
Okay.
to the network's files,
Mm-hmm.
your computer becomes an access point to
Access
launch
point.
all kinds of malicious
Execute all
engagement.
malwares. See, I'm
Everything that needs
learning.
to be done, you are
Yes.
learning, Beverly. You are learning.
Yes.
I'll give you a job offer after the interview.
Okay.
So it's
All right.
important. It's important. If you're not doing legitimate business, do not
Yes.
leave that VPN connection up.
Mm-hmm.
I will go further.
Mm-hmm.
If your laptop is not being engaged in companies, in the company's, in executing the company's purpose and files and
Yes.
work, turn
Yes.
your computer off.
Yes.
That's number 4.
Wow. Yes.
And the last, but I would say not least,
Mm-hmm.
if you see anything that looks suspicious, an email that comes in that you're not certain of, you are seeing something happening on your computer that you did not necessarily anticipate,
Yes.
something that was never there before popping up on your screen,
Yes.
shut your computer down and call your IT department immediately.
Be suspicious of anything.
Be suspicious of everything.
Everything.
Contact your IT, everything,
Yes.
and
Okay.
contact your IT department.
Okay.
With,
Great.
you need only one instance for
Mm-hmm.
your computer to be compromised,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all it takes. One
Mm-hmm.
person can bring down an entire company.
Okay. All right. Great. Um, so what about the common sense part of it now, right? Where I'm at home, my laptop is there, you know, I'm working, there is confidential information just up on my screen. And
Mm-hmm,
I'm in my home, in my comfortable space. I may have carried home
mm-hmm,
files, probably forms, I may be in financial services, I may be in IT, I may be in whatever, and highly confidential information is being, you know, available, made available
right.
to anyone, but me, other people, including myself. How do I protect that? What do I do?
The same process that you employ for your office, the same process you employ at home. Now,
Yes,
the home scenario is slightly more comfortable and
yes,
slightly more engaging and slightly more relaxing. And so you tend to let your guard down. Don't. Your company's data it sits within your environment, and it's up to you to protect it at all costs. Now,
okay.
in some instances, what we recommend is getting what we call a privacy screen for your laptop.
Privacy screen. Mm-hmm.
Privacy screen for your laptop to
Yes.
ensure if someone is passing, whether it be your husband, your
Mm-hmm.
wife, your spouse, your children, your uncle, your auntie, someone may be passing that
Yes.
was just invited to your home, and
Right.
your screen is open, you're working in your living room, that they are not able to access your screen to see those sensitive information.
Okay. All
That's
right.
number one. Number
Okay.
two, find a private space to have your work done. A space where there is a door, if possible, and you
Mm-hmm.
can close that door.
Yes.
Somewhere that you can have some level of privacy in your conversation. If you're
Mm-hmm.
having a conversation with a client, that
Yes.
your sister, your uncle, your daughter, your husband is not hearing those conversations. Again,
Right.
it's your
Okay.
responsibility to protect the company's interest.
Right.
And I would say, last but not least, if you have to bring files home,
Yes.
if you must bring files home,
Yes.
please secure these files in a locker that you have a key and you
Mm-hmm.
alone have
Yes.
that key to.
Yes.
Um, no, I understand the security risk if that key is lost.
Yes.
Um, that you could have problems, but it's more important for you to secure that file, even
Yes.
if you do not have access to that file. You can get a locksmith eventually to open the door
Right.
if you need to, but secure those files away. No
Because
one should have ready access.
data
Data
security, regardless of in the cloud, on your machine, or on a piece of paper, is currency these
critical.
days.
It
Yes.
is, it is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all the hacker needs.
Yes.
That's all they want, your
Yeah.
data.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first thing a hacker does when he gets on your computer is exfiltrate that data. Those are being sold on the dark web for pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
But they're making millions of dollars selling
Mm-hmm.
your company's data. And
Okay.
the last thing they will do once they have exfiltrated that data is
Yes.
to then encrypt the data. And at that point, you will then realize you have what we call a ransomware.
That has happened to me.
Wow.
It happened to me, but here was the situation. I had just left, I hadn't even left yet. It was last couple of days and I was still connected to the network. I put in my flash drive and
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded something, and they were able to encrypt the files that were on my flash drive, but
Yes.
they were not able to encrypt the ones that were on my machine because I was still under the protection of the company's whatever security system they have in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very lucky.
And this happens every single day. There
Yes.
are 350,000 malwares being developed every single day to compromise
Right.
systems
Mm-hmm.
that have vulnerabilities.
Right.
Which leads
Right.
me to
Right.
the other conversation.
Yes.
A lot of us are rushing into because we have been given an order from a lot of the governments and agencies across the US and the Caribbean and Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We are now telling our employees to go home. But
Yes.
what policies have we as a company put in place to ensure these employees are protected? Now, the
Yes.
first thing I would suggest you do is do a vulnerability assessment of your entire infrastructure.
Okay.
When last have you done a scan? This for
Yes.
me is a simple health check.
Yes.
Now,
Health check.
it's a health check.
Mm-hmm.
It's a health check on your infrastructure. What holes do I have? And if I were to break this down,
Yeah.
it's a simple exercise. At, let's simplify it somewhat. Normally before a thief breaks into your home, he does what we call scoping,
Yes.
or she scopes, or they scope.
Yes.
A thief, it can be he or she, and they
Yes.
scope. And they look to see what time you come in, what time you
Yes.
leave.
Mm-hmm.
Do you leave the windows open? Do you lock your doors? Is your car open? Do you turn on the alarm? Yes or no?
Yes.
At what time do you turn the alarm on? What window do I have?
Right.
That's called scoping. Now,
Yes.
for us, we do what we call a general health check, which is scoping your environment. We will
Yes.
check to see whether or not you have holes within your infrastructure, if there are any vulnerabilities or risk that would allow a hacker to get easy access to your infrastructure, and
Mm-hmm.
not just your infrastructure, but to
Mm-hmm.
those laptops that you're now telling your employees to move with, are they exposed?
Right. So they could
Do they?
even be exposed before I would get
Yes.
home to work in my
Yes.
environment.
We have done in our since we've started, we have found over 300,000 vulnerabilities on computers and networks that we have scanned.
Right, right, right. So
And
message to those who are responsible for the
message to those who are
infrastructure.
responsible:
Mm-hmm.
please scan now.
Right.
If
And
you
do your
are
health check.
uncertain, do your health check
Yes.
before you send that employee home with a
Mm-hmm.
laptop that could be riddled with holes for
Mm-hmm.
easy compromise.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the first thing you do. Now,
Okay.
once you have scanned and you have found vulnerabilities, fix them. If you
Immediately.
do, immediately. And we normally rank our vulnerabilities from critical to
Yes.
moderate.
Okay.
Critical vulnerabilities needs to be fixed within 24 hours.
Okay.
These are what we call a known vulnerabilities. Beverly,
Mm-hmm.
a 13-year-old
Yes.
can go online and
Mm-hmm.
find a known vulnerability and exploit a company.
Okay. All right. Well,
A
Kevin,
13-year-old.
you're making this thing sound very serious
But
responsibility when we are working from home.
It is.
Yeah.
We have done penetration testing before with no information
Mm-hmm.
on the company,
Yes.
and found passwords. We found files that the companies did not recognize they had stored in public places.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Public places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
guys,
Yes.
be very cautious.
Yes.
And if you have not employed the what we call antivirus is good. These are what we call signature based. They look to see if you're a bad guy, and then if you're a bad guy, shut the door. But we have asked companies to take it a step further. Employ what we call EDRs, endpoint detection and recovery or response. Now, that doesn't just look for what we call signature. If you are bad, I will shut the door. It looks at behavior.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Because I could come in and look good.
You could come in as look as beautiful as you are, Beverly.
And then behave badly.
Beautiful as you are and start behaving badly.
Yes.
And you will pass all your antivirus and all the thresholds.
Yes.
EDR will watch you as you're walking through the door.
Right.
And if you sit down, we will watch you further. If you get up and start touching things you should not touch, at that point, we'll then grab you by the neck and we'll then throw you out the door. And if you break anything, we are able to recover what you've broken. So
and this thing that we're talking about are the malwares.
That's correct. So if you have a malware and it passes your system and it touches any file on that computer or your server, we are able to recover that file or that program with a click of a button with our program. And that's what EDR does. So we employ, we ask a lot of
Remind us what EDR means again?
Endpoint detection and recovery or response.
Endpoint detection, recovery, and response.
Yes.
Okay, and that monitors any guy that comes in that look good and then start behaving badly.
Anything on the cloud, any email that you get, any files that you open, anything you may plug into your USB drive, anything that's sitting on your computer, anything that's sitting on your network. It's the first tool that a lot of companies use in what we call incident response. if you have an outbreak on your network and your entire network is compromised, that's normally the first tool we'll deploy, because
Okay.
that will arrest every anomalous process. Everything that pops its head,
Okay.
we'll cut it off.
Boy, Kevin, it seems as if we could talk about this, my dear
All
friend,
day.
for all day. But
All
you
day.
know, you have shared with us some powerful, powerful tips today, because all businesses are in this particular situation. And what you're saying is that as employees going home, change all our passwords immediately. First
Immediately.
thing. Secondly, what you're saying is take the application, my personal stuff, off the company's stuff, and put it
That's
on
correct.
my personal laptop. You're asking
That's
us to
correct.
be skeptical, to be suspicious
Of
um,
everything.
of everything. If somebody sends you a link, look at the last domain name of the seemingly legitimate person, because it could be bthompson at hulan.com, and really it should be
That's correct.
saying bthompson at hulaine.com. Check
That's
that.
correct.
If for your private conversations, try and find a space in your home where nobody's overhearing your conversation necessarily. Get a privacy screen. You spoke to us about that. If you have to bring home paper, and I'm hoping that we really don't have to in this paperless age, that we lock it away, because
Yes.
data is currency, and
That's
we
correct.
could be inviting malwares or the bad guys to execute on our machine and then take over your company's network, so to speak,
That's correct.
infrastructure.
That's
Well,
correct.
Kevin is the CEO of Simply Secure Group. They provide consulting, cybersecurity consulting services across the US, the Caribbean, and Europe. And we're so happy to have him today. I am Beverly Thompson, CEO of Hulaine Strategic Services. While we focus on sales effectiveness and sales enablement and sales infrastructure, we are quite aware of our bigger role as salespeople and as sales leaders, because we help to make decisions. And in sales, we have probably, you know, the largest number of people working remotely right now, and we want people to take personal responsibility for working from home, protecting their company's information, and keeping everything safe. Kevin, thank you. Pick up yourself. We love it.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, great.
All right.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Good.